very interesting area called remedies for breach of contract. Okay? I think we're going to go all the way. Hopefully we can finish at 6:30 or 6, whatever. We'll finish it. Might not be 6:30, but let's finish this today. Right? So at least you have some peace of mind. You can go back and read through tomorrow with your test morning. Don't worry too much. I think there will be 2 questions. My bet is that these 2 questions, definitely 2 questions to me, will come in parts. Now it's not going to be so cruel as to put 20 marks for each question. So it is 20 marks for each question, but parts will be easier to digest, right? So first part may be 8 marks, second part will be 9 marks or something. So even if you filter in small parts here and there, right? It won't be a major situation when you fail, right? I don't think so. Okay, let's start off by looking at remedies for breach of contract. Now, we start by looking at remedies. The page we have in mind is page 205 of Benny, chapter 8. Right? You can see that. Now, when we talk about remedies for breach of contract, we are actually talking about what we will get in the events the other party. Let's say we are the innocent party. We are the innocent party who have performed our side of the bargain, but that guy doesn't. Now, in this case, my purpose is to go to court to get compensation, right? I want to sue based on the breaking of a contractor. Now, in this case, what kind of breaking of a contractor? It could be a breach of a warranty, it could be a breach of a denominator, it could be a breach of a condition. I can still sue for breach, right? All 3 allows me to sue for breach. The difference is if it's a breach of a condition, I may additionally not perform my side of the bargain. Maybe I got 1 or 2 other things to do. I don't have to do anymore. But let's assume I have I am the party who is the innocent party. I have maybe completed all of my obligations, and he hasn't. So what I need to do is I have to sue him for breach, right? Now in this case, it is the remedies for breach is given for both breaches of conditions as well as breaches of warranties. Now, when a party breaches the contract, court is able to give 2 types of remedies. The first one is remedies at common law. Now, the word remedies at common law sometimes a bit confusing. You say, common law? You mean, again, we go back to history, right? Common law courts. Yeah, the common law courts in England used to dish out these remedies. And when they dish it out, it was automatic as of right. No need discretionary remedy. No need the judge to consider right or wrong. So long as contract is broken, you have a term is broken, you have the remedy. I will give you. I will quantify it based on the situation. Alright? Very simple. Does it have to show anybody at fault? Now later on when we come to the law of law, you've got to show fault in order to get remedies for damages. Now in contract, no need. Common law courts, automatically no fault. Right? The party don't perform only, don't care whether he's at fault, so long as he did perform. Fault and performance different, right? Contract, so long as you did perform, you can be perfectly innocent, but you fail to perform, you have it. I'm going to sue you for compensation. Now, law of tort later, when we come to it, we'll look at a different issue. Fault is a very important key. Alright? Okay, so common law, automatic, non-discretionary, as of right. Equitable remedies, a little bit different. In legal history, it goes back to Chancery Court, right? Chancery Court meaning, if I get this money, but the money isn't able to put me in the position that I want, or which is favorable. I want more than just money. I'll give you an example. Let's say you are an employer, and you have engaged a very famous scientist to do some research for you. In the scientist letter of employment, you have put in a non-competition clause, right? To say that if anything he has discovered R&D in my company, he cannot go and set up his own startup and exploit it, because that belongs to me. I featured it, I paid money for it, I spent investment money and time on it, and you did it, and now you do it, you go outside and exploit it. Can't, right? Now let's say he does exactly that, what he promised not to do. That's a restraint of trade, right? He goes out and do it. Now if you sue him for money, are you going to get a fair treatment? It's no what. Money, I mean, this is long term, man. R&D can last for many years, man. I'm going to exploit. If I'm going to get a patent, it's going to be 20 years. Don't tell me every year I sue him for compensation. Cannot be, right? So what I'm doing here is that I just find that common law remedies don't fit into what I want. Now here, I may be asking for something more than just money. Now in this case, I will go into one of those equitable remedies. I'll ask for an injunction. Now we'll talk about what is an injunction later. It's a form of restraining order to stop him from doing what he promised not to do. Alright? He promised not to compete with me, now he's doing exactly that. So, will that be good enough? Restraining order? Yeah, because if he breaches the court order, he could go to jail. Will he want to go to jail? He won't, I'm sure. Right? So, equitable remedies may fit into certain situations which are more appropriate. Okay, common law remedies, usual type of remedy available at common law, as of right. Remember, take note, automatically is the award of damages. Right? In some instances, innocent party may, as an alternative, claim on quantum merit. This will be especially so in situations when quantum merit will be very useful when you cannot actually quantify how much is your damages, but you've done work. Remember we talked about work merit a certain award for as much as you deserve, exactly like an employment contract. So here a quantum merit may be that alternative. Take note, it's an alternative. You don't have two types at one go. Okay, now, common law damages may be defined as monetary compensation payable by defaulting party to the injured innocent party for a breach of contract. Okay, so we understand. Damages equals compensation. Take note, the word here is damages. ES, not damage, damages. So damages is again a precise legal word, it means compensation. The objective is to place the injured party as far as money can in the same position it would have been if the contract had been properly performed. It is not punitive in nature. Now many times I've highlighted this. What we mean is not punitive in nature. We are not there to punish you. We are there to compensate the innocent party. Alright? So two situations, give you two examples. Number one, I ordered some stuff from you. Right? You didn't deliver the stuff on time, and I had no choice but to buy alternative items from another purchaser at a higher price. So my compensation will be the difference between your contract price and the higher price, because the logic is simple. Logic is, if you had delivered those goods, I will be richer. Why will I be richer? I don't have to go and source from him at a higher price. I'll be richer by the difference. You follow? So that's one example. Second example, you sell me goods that were defective. I had to send to a third party to get it repaired. The repair cost came to me, and I'm passing the buck to you. So that is another form of compensation. The amount spent on repairing a defective item. So that's another example of compensation. One will be alternative sources. The other one will be cost of repair. These are examples of common law damages. Right? The idea here is to put you in the position you would be if the contract had been performed. Now, if the contract had been properly performed, I would have to pay the higher alternative source. I don't have to pay the repair cost because there will be no defect if it had been properly performed. Right? Okay, so that's basically what they're saying. Now, next, and this is by far the most important, these three little issues here. Now, common law damages, in fact, four major aspects, sorry, what a problem. Okay, never mind. Okay, there's a typo error there. It's 4, not 3. Okay. Four major aspects to consider here, right? And these four are important because many highlights them. In this textbook, please look at page 208. Can you see 208? He likes to have this little chart, and it's very useful. It's something like a summary chart. Can you see 4 aspects of damages? First one, causation, remoteness, mitigation, assessment. Okay? Right. So let's consider how this works. Okay? Causation basically means that your loss must have come about because he has breached the contract. So there was a contractor, he breached it, therefore it caused your loss. Causation. If your loss is not caused by his breach, then of course you can't sue him, causation must be there. Number two, if it is caused by his breach, the question, how much should he be responsible for your loss? Where is the line to be drawn? Okay? Now, number three, right? If there are damages, what must I do to be able to claim? Now, the law says that you, as the innocent party, must act responsibly. You cannot let the claim escalate, right? You must try to mitigate, what we call minimize your loss. Wow, you're an angel. That guy caused me a breach of contract. I do the responsible thing. I minimize the loss. Why am I doing this? Logical is let it escalate. What? He's paying for it. I'm suing for more law. Not responsible, they say, right? So mitigation. Lastly, assessment. How much is that loss? Now, I'll give you a very simple example, which I often give to students. That's about food. Can you smell? Smell of food, right? Oh, lovely, right? Smells like pizza. Does it? Or something. It smells like something. Food, okay, good. Let's talk about food. Food is the best example. There's this restaurant just opened. Right? Uncle went there for dinner. Restaurant owner knows me, right? He knows who I am, he knows what line of work I'm in. Yeah? So he serves me often. Very nice food. This time he says he's got one new Mediterranean come Asian fusion cooking, right? And he's got an expert chef from overseas to come and cook it. So you want to try, Josh? You have a whiff of it, smells nice, right? Really, outside smells nice. I don't know, when you're hungry, everything smells nice. Yeah. So I said, okay, I want to try. But I didn't know his cook actually is from. It's not really from Mediterranean. His cook is from Syria. Syria now a lot of fighting involved. He's a refugee from Syria. He used to work as a kitchen hand in Syria, but now he managed to leave Syria. Now he's here as a full-fledged chef. All his so-called diplomas and culinary whatever qualification are doctor. He's a doctor from Syria, doctor cook, right? But he's a good cook naturally because he worked so many years in kitchen. He knows what goes on. He has no personal hygiene, quite dirty. Right? In terms of Singapore standard, it will fail. But because he's a refugee, Singapore MFA very kind to refugees welcoming him. Right? So my friend got him as a chef. So when he's preparing the food, it was a bit dirty, unhygienic. It smells good, it tasted right. I ate it, and I ate it some more. And when I went back, I suffered the results of it. Right? Food poisoning in the middle of the night, I was hospitalized. Wow, so bad. Just kidding lah. Of course, I don't go to hospital so easily. Right? I got an iron cut stomach, they say. Right? But let's say I was hospitalized. Right? I went to emergency ward, A&E, SGH. They put me in a special ward for 3 days just to monitor my fluids. You know, when you go toilet often, your fluid is gone, right? Yeah, you have to drink H2O. Okay. Now, what happened is, as a result of this whole series of trauma, guess what happened? I suffered many losses. Number one, this guy knows I'm in teaching and training. Wow, I lost out many classes, you know. Right, 1 week down here I do many classes. I lost out about 1 week income. Let's say if I can say 1 week I get $3,000, let's say. Let's say 1 week $3,000, I lose $3,000 worth of income. Should he be responsible for it? That's the question of remoteness. Right? Now, aside from my income, of course, talk out medical bills. I mean, going to A&E ward not cheap, you know. And then after that, you go to special emergency ward to monitor you and all that. Wow, let's say the hospital bill came up to $7,000. 7 plus 3, 10,000 really. Wow. Then on the third or fourth day, actually, if I had not been hospitalized, right, SIM Private Limited has got a convention. They put me as a speaker somewhere in Hong Kong. They were sending a group of people, let's say, supposed to go to Hong Kong and talk. Then one day down there, I paid $2,000. I will fly there, nighttime fly back, but I plan to spend the weekend in Hong Kong, never mind, but I make 2,000. I lost out that 2,000. One day of work, please goodbye. Why? Because you're in SGH Ward 17. You see what I'm trying to say? Now, it goes on and goes on. Because of my trauma, sorry I use this word, I lost size so much. No, it's not right? Until I was so confused, so frustrated, I lost a lot of hair. And I look uglier as a result. And this one caused my self-esteem to go down. And later I had suicidal tendencies. My hair is all gone. Now, all this lead to a lot. So, first thing I have to prove, if I'm going to sue him for breach of contract, I got to prove that Syrian cook is not really a cook. It's the most unhygienic cook, and the food he has done, unprepared, which is prepared, is just not fit for human consumption, right? Now, I have to prove that. So, the hospital will help me. The hospital say, we got a lot of fluids came out of you. We'll use this to go and send to EMV, and they will do some lab tests. You know, they're like CSI now. They check the bacteria in my leftover, and they check the bacteria in the kitchen, and they match it and say, got it. We got it, CSI, we got it. It's the same bacteria, so it caused her injury. No problem, causation proven. Right, you follow up? Next, remoteness. How far down the line should the restaurant owner be liable for my losses? He knows I'm this line, right? He knows I will lose. I have, I don't have an ongoing employment contract, but I have contract for services and a lot of it from SIM. He knows roughly how much I earn, right? Should he be responsible for my $3,000 1 week loss of income? Probably. How about my medical expenses at the hospital? Possibly, because these are all directly incurred as a result of his cook's failure to perform a proper contract, right? Maybe. How about the lucrative income in Hong Kong? Big question mark. Is the restaurant owner liable for that as well? Don't know. We have to know. We have to know whether he knows about it. Common man would say, common sense, layman would say, hey, he should know about you going there to make this big money, right? If you don't know, how can he be responsible? Logical will tell you, right? The law agrees with you too. We'll look at the rule in Henley against Baxendale, Victoria Lottery case, very important case. Alright? How about my frustration, my tension, my loss of hair, my suicidal tendencies? Will he be responsible? That one a bit too far-fetched, right? Well, you mean one diarrhea episode can call that, but that was serious, though. One day I look myself, oh, dark already now, totally. Don't have to shave, it drops off by itself. Yeah. You know why they say loss of important salts in your body all pluck out? Right? Okay, so anyway, these are the questions that we asked for. So let's look at these issues. What do we mean by causation? Right, it must firstly be established that the loss suffered by the injured party, the plaintiff, was caused by the breach of contract committed by the defaulting party defendant. So food is a very good example of the causation I showed you, the CSI, right? Another way of putting it is to see whether but for the breach of loss, the loss would have occurred. Alright? In the law of tort, we'll look at this but for test. According to Betty's book, doesn't matter whether it's tort or contract, causation is the same in contract and tort. In other words, later we come to the law of tort, we'll talk about did the breach of duty cause the loss. The same thing, but for the breach, the loss could have still occurred, right? Now, simple, in my restaurant example, but for the breach by the restaurant owner, the loss would not have occurred. I would be here in SIM earning my 3,000 a week, let's say, and earning the 2,000 from Hong Kong, and not incurring the additional 7,000 in medical claims, right? Incur medical costs, right? I would have saved that, and not bad, I could have gone on a holiday end of the year, 7,000, right? Instead, I have to pay to doctors, pay to nurses to put funny things all over you. Wow, scary, man. Yeah. Okay, so that's the first question, causation, right? So I want you to take a look at what he's got here on page 208. You have to read this area, right? The cherry. This is an interesting case. You should read what the court has to say. 208. Now I want you to go deeper into this area. Read that. Okay, there are a few cases which you can consider. First one, of course, is you might want to look at the Monarch. The case of Monarch against Harishams, I don't know how to pronounce that. I usually call it Monarch case. It's about a ship called Monarch. Right? Now then there's Asia Hotel Investments, right at the bottom, against Starwood, this one. Right? I want you to read some of this. And it goes on to page 209, the question of causation. Right? Some practical examples will be some of those. Now, the next question is remoteness. Remoteness, the loss caused by the defendant's breach must not be too remote or far-fetched in the eyes of the law. What is far-fetched? This means that the loss must be proximate, that is closely connected enough with the breach. Because if it's not closely connected enough, not directly linked enough to the breach, otherwise the chain of causation may be limitless. Remember just now I told you, right? How much should he be responsible for my losses? My medical expenses, my loss of income, my loss of particularly lucrative contract, my falling hair, my suicidal tendencies, and maybe if I did commit suicide, my final death. Should he be responsible for that as well? Wow, it's never contemplated by the guy, you know. I didn't know diarrhea can cause him to do like that, this kind of thing. Come on, man. Yeah. Maybe the loss of salt made me go a bit cranky out there. I go siao, I don't know. But whatever, should he be responsible? Alright. Now here, the test for remoteness is seen in a very important case. The facts of the case is actually not important, but the two rules are. The name of the case is called Hadley against Baxendale. Alright, very important case called Hadley and Baxendale, which states that the claim may be made for two things, contract claims. Now this is only confined to contract. When we talk about tort later, we'll be talking about the wagon mount, different case. Right? Okay, so remember contract Hadley and against Baxendale, tort is the wagon mount. Huh? Now, normal losses arising naturally according to the usual course of things. Okay, my example. We still have the smell of food here. Fantastic. Is there a kitchen around here with fragrance coming? Alright. You all don't smell it, you don't smell it? Oh, no, it's not. I'm not hungry. I'm okay. You guys smell it or not? No. Smell. You smell it, right? A little bit. Yeah, somebody brought in food. Either that or somebody's cooking around here. Anyway, yeah. That's why some people say I like to drink wine because I've got very good olfactory glands. No, true or not? I can smell things. Serious, I'm like a dog. Serious. Strangely, Chinese zodiac sign, I'm a dog, so wow, that's why I'm very old man with me. Yeah. So, anyway, normal losses arising from naturally according to usual course of things is the example I told you just now, right? A lot of which, because of that restaurant scenario I painted you, a lot of it is normal losses. Number one, my medical expense. I would not have incurred if not for the fact that, you know, they caused the loss, right? Number two, my loss of direct income by 3,000 a week, let's say, right? That will also be incurred as a result of that. Normal losses naturally arising, alright? Now, exceptional or abnormal losses arising from special circumstances within the party's reasonable contemplation at the time of making the contract. Case of Victoria Laundry. That is the one that I was telling you about. Supposing SIM conventions. They have a company called SIM Private Limited that does conventions. Right? I do some of their short courses. Do you guys know where is Management House? Management House? There's a Management House in SIM. It's somewhere in the 6th Avenue, just beside former Prime Minister Goh Chok Tong's house. Very nice place. Well secured one. Okay. You know where? You have a lot of courses there. Sometimes I go there and help SMU professors. They do the big picture, I do the small pictures. Very interesting. They pay much more than what they plan to do with you. So let's say SIM Private Limited sends me on Hong Kong for some stuff and I get $2,000. It's not bad, right? Yeah, for one day work, I get one day I get 2/3 of what I get in a week here. Why not, right? But unfortunately I can't do because I'm in hospital, let's say. Now, would that be treated as one or two? It would be two, right? Exceptional. Because it's not often I do it. Now, this exceptional abnormal losses could also be claimed provided it is within the party's reasonable contemplation. So, in other words, not only I need to know about it, of course, convention organizer will know about it, I will know about it, but does the restaurant owner know about it? He might not know about this specific lucrative one. He knows that generally I teach at SIM, and I earn quite okay. He doesn't know about this special lucrative. Now, the law is very fair. Just like what the layman thinks, if he doesn't know anything about it, the law will not penalize him by making him pay what he doesn't know about. Okay? So, later we'll see Victorian Laundry tells us what is rational. Okay? Right. Hadley against Baxendale, the case is not important, but the two rules are, right? Now, I'm going to read what the court said. The court held that an injured party may recover those damages reasonably considered to arise naturally from the breach of contract, or, secondly, those damages within the reasonable contemplation of parties at the time of contracting. Alright? Now in this case, the loss of profit was not within the contemplation of parties, therefore it was not compensable, according to this case. Now the case of the Heron 2 was the first one. What was directly a claim on the direct losses? Plaintiffs were sugar merchants hired a ship called the Heron number 2 to carry sugar to an established sugar market. Now the ship was delayed, and during that time the price of sugar fell, and the plaintiffs made less profits than he would have. Now he sued the owners of the Heron 2 for the loss of profit. Now of course Heron 2 said, I don't know that there's a sugar, I don't know he will lose money, right? But the question arose, did he know that there's a sugar market in that particular part of the world? His answer was, yes, I know. And if you know there's a sugar market and he's in the sugar business, you obviously, we can impute that you know that he will make a loss if the price fell. He got no answer to that, right? Now here the court held that the defendant knew there was a market, and it was likely that the plaintiff wanted to sell the sugar immediately. He therefore bore responsibility for the losses. Alright? So this was the direct loss. Now we come to the indirect loss. And you see this Victoria Laundry. Now Newman Industry agreed to sell Victoria Laundry a boiler which was wanted for immediate use. Okay? Delivery was made 5 months late in breach of contract. Alright? Now Victoria Laundry claimed for A, loss of normal operational profits consisting of the loss of new customers whom they could have served with a new boiler, and B, the loss of a profitable tender with a government agency which they could have earned had the boiler been delivered on time. Now the court held that the defendant's knowledge made them liable for A. Right? You knew what kind of business is in, you'll be liable for the direct losses. Although they could not be made liable for the lucrative contract under B, for which the evidence showed they knew nothing about. Right? So Newman Industry, the supplier of the boiler, didn't know that they were going to, that Victoria Laundry was going to tender for this lucrative government contract. They didn't even know about how much the contract, the nature of the contract, how much money it's going to make. Now, which begs us the question, why Victoria Laundry never tell them? No, in commercial lines, you don't tell common suppliers trade secrets, because common suppliers also supply to your competitors, right? So you tell them, hey, you man, I got this lucrative contract from government agency, X Star. How much? Oh, $1 million. Okay, thank you. Make sure you bring the boiler in time. Sure, no problem. Next thing you know, Victoria Laundry got a competitor, say Albert Laundry, right? Albert and Victoria, husband and wife. Queen Victoria, Prince Albert, right? Albert Laundry, right? And Newman Industry, hey, Albert, your competitor, $1 million from extra government contract, you better work at it. Oh yeah, I will outbid him. So you know what they do when tender the $1 million? Mine 900K. They'll offer to the lowest, right? Wow, why would a guy so stupid go and tell a common supplier all this? Precisely because Victoria Laundry doesn't want to short circuit itself. He didn't tell Newman Industry, but that in fact sabotaged him. Because had Newman Industry known about it, they should be liable under point number 2. Right? Interesting, These kind of cases can only happen in commercial life because, you know, in commercial market, people do this. Somebody got look after your own interest, they say. But you sabotage yourself at the end. Okay, so far these 3 areas, okay, the first 2 areas. The third one is mitigation. I have to minimize my loss. This one sounds a bit ridiculous, right? Because at the end of the day, right, if he is going to be the paymaster, he should be paying every cent. Every cent. I don't have to come out, right? Why do I need, same people will tell me, he's going to be the paymaster. Why should I need to save money for him? I'll let it escalate. So I go back to my story, You know my story, I go hospital, right? A silly story. Food's well gone already. Somebody must have covered it now. Yeah. Now let's say I gone to hospital because of a food poisoning case. Right? And during the 5 days I was in hospital, first 2 days maybe accident, emergency, first day, after that move me to a high dependency ward, and later go back normal ward, and they ask me, Mr. Hu, where would you want to stay? You know, normally we have your records, you normally stay in a B1, 2 or 3 to a room. I said, I don't want that. Why am I so stupid? The guy paying for it, give me a single room and suite with special nursing service. Oh, wow, not special service. I go there, every day got food, reflexology, hair wash, massage head, wow, show. Maybe that's why my hair dropped. all the things were special, great service, they feed me, 5-star food and all that. So I say, the guy who made me diarrhea, that guy must pay for it. Common sense will tell you, right? Hey, you're looking at the gift horse in the mouth and the fellow say, take it, it's yours. I'll take it, right? But no, the law says, no, this is wrong. We must try and mitigate your loss. In other words, if all the time you go on your own, I've been to the hospital a few times for operations. Uncle here always sick, not a sick guy, but always recovered at right time, right? Now, if I go operation and pay my own money, I will be staying in a 2 to 3 minute room, right? Okay, what? Right? So you stay there as per normal, you try and mitigate your loss. And nobody expects you to go and go and join the queue and say, you cannot have special benefits, subsidy, because I'm very poor. Nobody expects you to do that, right? But do what you do. But now I'm going to go to get a private room, everything with special nursing service, because he is paying for it. Now, is that the responsible thing to do? According to this point, no. You may have to mitigate or minimize the loss. Now, the court is not going to say, I am not entitled to sue him. I can sue him, but at the end, I might just get nominal damages. Not really what I want. Alright? Now, the injured party is expected to take reasonable steps to minimize his loss. Otherwise, the damages will be reduced accordingly. Now, the burden is on the defendant to show that the plaintiff failed to mitigate. So, if he thinks I'm trying to rip him off, he got to show I'm ripping him off. Alright? Now, this mitigation principle limits the right of an injured party to affirm a contract in case of anticipatory breach. Don't worry about that. He can only affirm if he has some proprietary interest. You may want to read the case of Fight against Carter. But the case I have in mind is Brace against Calder. Brace against Calder, I believe it's found in Benny's book as well. Okay, let me just give you the page. Mitigation. Here we are. Yeah, 214 is somewhere there, right? I can't see where it is. Let's see. Oh yeah, Brace against Calder is found somewhere there. I don't know where it is now. Yeah, the other case, Fight against Carter, is there. Brace against Calder is somewhere there as well. You have a look at it. But anyway, I'll give you the facts of this Brace against Calder. It's an employment case. Employee was dismissed by employer but offered re-employment on similar terms and conditions as before. Now he refused and he sued, in fact. The court held that he should have mitigated his loss by accepting the reasonable offer of re-employment. The company was undergoing restructuring. So they re-employed him. Instead, he decided not to. He sued for breach of contract. So in this particular instance, only nominal damages was awarded. So this is something which you want to think about. Okay. Right. Now, this whole set of stuff called assessment of damages is important, alright? Because at the end of the day, they will want to test you on pecuniary, non-pecuniary. Now, what do we mean by pecuniary? Those things I told you earlier on. Remember, I was telling you about a situation where if I buy, let's say I buy something from you and you didn't deliver and I have to order goods from him, similar goods, alternative sources at a higher price. Now, this is pecuniary because there is a margin between your contract price and his new price. Similarly, let's say you may have sold me defective goods and I have to send for repair. After I send for repair, there's an invoice after the goods are repaired, right? Now here there's again something which is pecuniary in nature. Now, however, there are some non-pecuniary losses that sometimes people may want to claim for. My example just now, silly example about food poisoning from a restaurant. Now, I'm going to be very stupid. If I'm not a lawyer, I'll be very stupid and just sit down and claim my medical expenses, my loss of income. I want to claim things like pain and suffering, distress and disappointment. But here, this one not quantifiable really, because who is to say if I claim $5,000 for pain and suffering, distress, disappointment, and just a total lack of enjoyment of the food that was given. In fact, suffering, right? Yeah. So all this $5,000 is like pluck out from the air and just whack him. Now, is the court prepared to give such non-pecuniary losses? Last time, no, they were quite strict. Such losses were claimable in the law of tort, but not in contract. Generally not. Contract, you need to prove pecuniary losses, i.e. difference in price, repair costs, things like that, right? But now they are more prone to giving, because after a few cases, one very interesting case I would like to tell you about. Those of us who like traveling, it's called Swan against something against Swan Travels. Yeah, we'll be looking at Swan against something travels. There's a travel case later we'll be looking at. When this guy contracted to go on a 5-star holiday, but was given something like a 2 or 3 star. So he counted the number of stars that were defective and he sued for loss based on disappointment and distress. Right? The court gave him some money, surprisingly. So now contract claims for non-pecuniary losses becoming like the law of thought. Jarvis against Swan Tours, the name of the case. Sorry. So let's look at assessment. Right? Now, if you have Benny's book, please turn to page 215. Can you see that general principles? Okay, I'm going to read assessment general principles. As stated earlier, the basic principle of assessment is that the injured party is to be placed in the same financial position it will be in if the contract is properly performed. Now, here the award of damages is calculated on the benefits which would accrue to the injured party and not on the cost of performing the obligation by the defaulting party. Right? Singapore High Court had commented further on the general principles to be followed in the assessment of damages. Right? In that case, you can read what Judge Salwork has to say. I want to read that. So here. Now, issues in assessing damages, maybe I'll just flash this across. Okay? Can you see this nice chart here? Diagram 8D. Right? There's a general principle down here. Put the injured party in the position where the contract is performed properly. And then you look at the classification of loss, expectation loss and reliance loss. This is very important, this classification. Then you have problematic cases. Some are speculative, some are non-pecuniary losses. Some are very speculative. Can you still claim for that? Now, then we have, later we'll be looking at what we call liquidated damages, LD. Very common in some contracts. Right? I give you 2 examples where LD is often found. 2 types of contracts. Shipping related, charter party contract, right? And the other one is called construction related, or building contracts. And then we have taxation, the last 2 not too important, taxation and interest. Right? But I would want to cover 1, 2, and 3, the first 3. Okay? Alright, expectation loss and reliance loss. First of all, what's the difference between the 2? Now, pecuniary losses, which may be recoverable, are sometimes classified either expectation or reliance. What's the difference? Now, expectation losses, this covers situations like loss of profit or loss of gain. When the injured party would have expected to gain had the contract been properly performed. Okay? So, this kind of things, you have to plan what your limit or when we say what you want your profits to be like, right? Had the contract been performed, I would have really fully realized my profit margin of 20% over my cost. But because it wasn't, then I only get 5% over my cost. So therefore, I'm going to sue you for the balance 15%, which I expect to be able to have fulfilled from this contract, but because of your breach of contract, it did not. So that would be an example. The other one is reliance loss. Okay, this covers wasted expenditure representing expenses incurred by the injured party which was rendered wasted because of the breach. Okay, a good example is repair cost. Remember just now I was telling you, right? This guy, fantastic, sold me something that was supposed to be in mint condition, perfect, defects, 0 defects. Later found out, wow, 10, 20, 30 defects. I got to send for repair. Right? Yeah, actually, this is like, had the contract been properly performed, I would not have been spending $2,000 repairing it. It would have been mint condition. So this is an example of reliance loss. Alright? So examples like that. Okay, I want you to read this whole area. Page 216, 217. Wow, a lot. 218. Yeah, a lot to read. Now after reading it, you should of course do your little summary charts. Not easy, this area, a lot of stuff to do. Yeah? Sorry, I'm not going to treat you not like business student, like law students, because our friend, Mr. Jason, treat you all like law students. I remember as a law student when I did this. Of course, ours was much thicker textbook. I was like headache. Spent weeks on end doing this. Yeah, but a lot small, but still, wow, headache. There's some concepts not very. I had particular problems with this as a law student last time, but now, of course, because I teach it so often, I have to understand before I pass it to you, right? So long as you understand the meaning, easy to summarize it. Yeah, but some effort like drawing your mind maps. Huh? Okay, now the next one, non-pecuniary loss, and these are the problematic areas. Huh? Can you see page 218? Alright, 218. Okay, this one is, now 218, difficulty in assessment, this is a different area. Now I still want you to read. Can you remember we went through the Raffles Town Club case? Right? It's here on page 219. Okay? These are the ones that are a little bit more problematic. Okay? Now, if you have to read the whole thing in context. Now, Raffles Town Club, the question was the end there. The Court of Appeal is deciding the issue whether the members were entitled to damages for the diminution in value of their membership. In other words, you talk about membership, right? If I'm a member of a very exclusive club, I should be able to get X dollars for my membership. But now, because every Tom, Dick, and Harry in Singapore is in this club, no more exclusive anymore, right? So I lost so much money. Now that's a bit speculative, isn't it? A bit speculative, like gambling, somewhat. Right. Now here, diminution in value of their membership. Acknowledge that it was very difficult to estimate with certainty the value of our RTC membership, with 5,000 members as promised, and one with 19,000 members, the eventual number. Very difficult. Real problem, right? Kind of speculative. This was compounded by factors like the poor economic conditions at the time, and the reliability of evidence such as sales data from other comparable clubs. Nevertheless, the court held that despite the difficulties, it must still do its best to assess the loss, as RTC had clearly breached its contractual obligation of providing a premium club to the plaintiffs and to maintain it as such. Now, the court eventually awarded each plaintiff $3,000 for the diminution in value of the membership. The court also denied compensation for the plaintiff's non-pecuniary losses, as that would result in double compensation. Now, this in fact is non-pecuniary loss, the reduction, because you can't. It's kind of speculative. You can't really. There's no magical formula, right? Now, so the approach used to calculate the amount of damages, right? Justice Chow, Judge of Appeal Chow, right? You might want to reach how he arrived at that. Now, the other one will be non-pecuniary losses. Okay, the next one, can you see that part there? Non-pecuniary losses. Yeah, right at the end there. Okay, page 220. The courts are generally reluctant to award damages for non-pecuniary, non-monetary loss. Remember, I was telling you, hurt feelings, distress, usually very little. In fact, last time, almost none. Right? This type of loss covers things such as hurt feeling, anxiety, loss of reputation arising from breach of contract, etc., etc. Alright? Now, so let's look at how did they change their mind. Page 221 tells you, however, in recent years, right, there have been some loosening of this approach. Right? In certain circumstances, non-pecuniary losses may be compensated. One example is where the plaintiff suffers substantial physical inconvenience. Alright, you may want to look at the case of Bailey and Toulon, 1950. I think that one you got the Wikipedia in, right? Another example is where a contract whose very aim is to provide enjoyment or security is breached, giving rise to disappointment or distress. This is the case I'm referring to, Jarvis against Swan Tours. He gives you the next form down here, right? In fact, it's here, Jarvis against Swan Tours. Okay, etc. Now, there's another one. Damages for loss of amenity were also ordered in the well-known English case of Ruxley Electronics against Forsyth, when a builder built a swimming pool 6 feet deep instead of the specified 7 feet 6 inches. More recently, Farley against Skinner, 2001. Alright. House of Lords loosened the rule further by stating that where an important, not necessarily the sole object of the contract, is to give pleasure, relaxation, or peace of mind, damages are recoverable if the contract is breached and mental distress results. Right. I'm just wondering, at one time in Singapore we had so many of these spas sprouting out. Spas, women, ladies, men even. Yeah, I saw one of their sales giving is what? We know what their sales giving. sir, you like it so much, you come first time. Of course, every time you just come first time. Why don't you buy a package? They always tell me. How much is a package? Oh, it's 5,500, very cheap lah. You can earn that in 1 week. You know, it's 5,500. How many times? 12 times. Which means I'm going to come to, what happens? I ask that question. What happens if I come 6 times and then the company close down? Don't worry, one. We are super strong company. How to close down? With patrons like you, how to close down? Every day one massage, one hair tonic, one food reflex. How, right? You see what I'm getting at? Now you pay 5,500. A lot of people pay 5,500. The guys behind you take all the numbers and then they go and speculate in the share market, property market, and God knows what market. And at the end of the day, the company closes down. And then what happens? You sue them, right? You sue them for the return of the money. You sue them for disappointment, frustration, loss of amenity, loss of many things. Now, can you get it? Last time was almost impossible. Now with the sprouting out of such things, it's possible. Alright? So now you get cases like Jarvis and Swan Tours and Farley and Skinner coming in, quite common in contract law. Okay, as a result, because things have changed. Right? So, now, anyway, Farley and Jarvis, both cases are here, you can be on your own. Not a problem. So, this is the court's approach now. Okay, any questions at this point? Non-pecuniary losses, no problem. Now, let's look at the difference between unliquidated, liquidated, and nominal damages. Now, there's a difference between this. So far, at this point, what we have talked about, what is spoken about, a lot of the stuff we have dealt with, right? Especially those relating to assessment of damage, not so much assessment, assessment of damages, remoteness of damages, right? Especially Hadley versus Baxter and all that. Now, so far we've talked a lot about that. All that relates to the first one, unliquidated damages, because the court is the one that's going to decide how much you're going to dish out to you. Of course, you will want to make an application to court to say how much you want, 100,000, but the court may not dish out 100,000 to you lah. Exactly as what you want. But here the court is going to dish out the money. It is not something which you have pre-estimated yourself with the other contracting party. You are going to court, expect the court as a in litigation, you go to court, you expect the court as the party who is going to judge the situation to give you a fair decision, right? So the judge has to, in other words, quantify damages and pay you according to what he perceives of the circumstances. So this one is called unliquidated damages, which are as specified, leaving the court to quantify the amount taken, take into account the facts of the case, the circumstances of each case. You ask for 100K, he may not give you 100K. Remember Raffles Town Club? He didn't give them what they wanted. He gave them 3,000. Right? 3,000 for that so-called loss of value to a club membership. Right? But who's to say what it is? So he's taken into account the circumstances of the case. Now, in commercial life, if you have that, then there will be a lot of problems. Most parties don't leave it to chance. They don't go to court and say, litigate, let the judge decide. No, no, no. When we're talking about a big construction contract, right, a building contract, let's say at the time when MBS was being built, Marina Bay Sands, right, big stuff, they don't say, hey, litigation, let's go to court, let them decide. No, no, no. The contract will specify if you cannot do which part of the contract, how much you have to pay in which defect, in which situation when you breach it, right? Now that is the more common one in big contracts. Liquidated damages, a quantified or pre-estimated amount which has been agreed by the parties in the contract at the time before the breach. Right? Most common. Construction contracts, right? Very often. Shipping related contracts, right? In shipping related contracts, there's a name for it, it's called demurrage. Right? Demurrage or demurrage. Right? The one they will quantify how much. Late shipping, blah blah blah. Chartered parties got a lot of this. Late arrival, right? That's why they got ETA, estimated time of arrival, not electronic transactions, different thing, right? So things like that. Now, shipping, construction, international finance and banking also got a lot of LD, liquidated damages. Because we cannot leave it to chance for a court to award. Because if a judge were to take into account all the circumstances, then we may lose out. So we better put in a contract and make sure he signs. The minute both parties agree to it, if there's a breach, you just pay out according to the liquidated damages clause, the LD clause. You don't go to court, litigate. And the court don't want to litigate. The court, in fact, leave the parties to decide upon themselves how much they have quantified among themselves. Right? So that is an important thing, liquidated damages. Last but not least, we have nominal damages. Nominal damages basically means that, remember just now I was telling you, now if you cannot prove very much your case, or let's say you've done all that's necessary to prove, but you have missed one very important mark. Remember I tell you mitigation, you go and stay in the best hotel when he only offers you what's reasonable, and you make him pay for it. That's when the court said, you have the right, but I'm not going to give you the money. The court said, pat you on the back, say, yeah, you win. But here's $200 for a legal cost. My lawyer cost $2,000, not $200. Sorry, law, you top up the rest. This is to tell everybody you win, we clap hand. But you have behaved most irresponsibly. Pop, smack me on the head. Right? So this nominal damages range refers to a nominal sum a court will award when the plaintiff has suffered no real loss. Or even if he has suffered a loss but he hasn't acted judiciously or haven't acted responsibly. Okay, so these are the three types. Now we have covered number one. We are going to look at number two now, liquidated damages. What is liquidated damages? Okay, after I go through this, can we have another 5-minute toilet break? Yeah, you know why? Drinking a lot of water, I'm going there after. I hope one side, but not the other side, I go hospital, die. Yeah, tomorrow you won't see me. You won't see me. Right. Okay. Now the more food smell seem to have gone already. Okay, now what is liquidated damages? Very important. Big contracts, big business, commercial contracts will have this. Right? Now, parties to a contract will foresee the possibility of a breach. Right? In certain circumstances, we agree to include a clause specifying, take note, the amount of damages payable by the defaulting party. Here, we're not saying that who is liable, who is not. Assuming you are liable, right, there are two things to consider in any breach of contract situation. Number one, liability. Are you liable in the first place? So, question of causation and remoteness. Then later we talk about amount, quantum, but here we're not talking about liability. Assuming you are liable, don't worry about amount. Let's stipulate here and sign. Alright? So here, specifying the amount of damages payable by the defaulting party. This is usually called an LD or liquidated damages clause. Now the court will generally enforce such a clause so long as it is a genuine pre-estimate of that loss. Genuine means that you haven't punished him as a result. Right? For example, if the loss is 10,000, the actual loss is about 10,000, and the LD clause is quite close to it. The LD clause says is 11,200. Now the court is not going to take the 1,002 and slap you on the face and say, sorry, it's not, it's a penalty. No, they'll probably just let it go. But if it's unduly excessive, they say your loss is 10,000, but the guy got whack for 200,000. Wow, that's bad, that's right. That's like punishment, no, terrorizing someone, right? So in other words, he's trying to force you not to breach a contract. That's difficult, right? So the question is whether it's a genuine pre-estimate of that loss. Now, such clauses will not be enforceable if it's a penalty and a punitive in nature. Right? When we look at the case of Dunlop against New Garage, we look at how the courts differentiate the two. Now, how do the courts determine whether a clause is an LD or penalty? Now, the next slide will tell you about the Dunlop against New Garage. Okay, Dunlop against New Garage is a very, this case here, right? Can you see page 223 of Benny's book? Page 223, right? Now, okay, actually it's the bottom of page 222. Right, and the end there, you say, whether the liquidated damages clause is a genuine pre-estimate of loss of penalty, it's largely a matter of construction. The guidelines for construing such clauses can be found in Dunlop Pneumatic Tires, okay, against New Garage and Motor Company. Guidelines include the following. So these are the three little things which I have it on my slide. Alright? Some guidelines will help determine the difference as highlighted in Dunlop against New Garage as follows. 1. If the LD clause is extravagant and unconscionable, it's more likely to be a penalty. Now, what do we say is extravagant and unconscionable? I just told you just now. Compare. Had an actual loss came about, right? The innocent party would have suffered a loss of 10,000. But if the LD clause is particularly stipulated, if losses of this nature applying to the contract, then the party shall be liable for $200,000 each and every claim. Wow, 200,000 is very different from 10,000, you know. You follow? This is extremely extravagant, unconscionable because it's excessive. Excessive, unconscionable. No court of equity will enforce it. Alright? It's more likely a penalty. Now here, if there's a dispute, the court will not enforce it. Now, secondly, if a single lump sum is payable on the occurrence of a range of breaches, some serious, some trifling, it's more likely a penalty. Now, earlier we were talking a lot about different types of terms, right? The more important terms will be treated as conditions. Now, if you penalize, or don't use the word penalize, if you were to quantify breaches of condition as 10,000, right? And you quantify breaches of warranty also 10,000, then something is wrong. No, warranty is less important than condition. It should be less, right? Maybe warranty 2,000, condition 10,000. In nominal term, 7,000. fair thing, because it's neither a warranty nor a condition, depending on the breach, right? Yeah, so that, I mean, here you say single lump sum, one sum payable, 10,000 for all. Payable on occurrence of whatever type of breaches, right? Some are trifling, some serious, 10,000 also. No bargain, fixed price shop, right? Wonderful, huh? So it's likely to be a penalty. Lastly, the description of the clause liquidated damages is relevant, but it's not conclusive. Now, many people do that. They say, liquidated damages clause, but inside the content of it, every one is in fact punitive in nature. Then it doesn't serve the name any purpose, because it's not actually describing the content. The content are penalty clauses, they are not liquidated damages. So just calling it by such a name doesn't help the situation. Right? So basically those are the points that I'd like to share with you for new Dunlop new garage. Okay. This part is not so important. Shall we take a 5-minute toilet break? Let's go for a 5-minute toilet break or 10 minutes.